Creative success begins in the nervous system, not your goddamn morning routine. I love a good morning routine, but what emanates first is the presence that we embody in our nervous system state. Doesn't matter what you do, it's how you do it. So you don't need more willpower, you need to cultivate true safety in your body and your nervous system. So for those who are fucking exhausted, trying every strategy, trying every growth hack, every morning routine, and still feel like you are white knuckling your way to your dreams, this video is for you. By the end of this video, you will be resourced with more nervous system capacity to actually build the dream life that you crave. So if you're new here, my name's Kev. I'm an award-winning furniture designer and I help ambitious creatives design and build an emotionally resilient life and business. So I want to break down this sort of chronic dysregulated culture that we're living in, what it's costing us, how the real strategy to success is somatic, and why burnout is not failure, it is a message, right? And then we'll talk about expanding your capacity. So inconsistency, burnout, resistance, self-sabotage, they come from states of our nervous system being stuck in survival for too goddamn long. Because let's face it, 99% of the population is operating on fumes. We're past our edge, we're dysregulated, we're not able to rest and digest, and it's only a matter of time before something crumbles and collapses. So in regards to being able to cultivate the creative business, the creative expression, or just the impact that you crave to step into and embody, it's not that you're lazy, it's not that you're undisciplined, it's just that your body doesn't feel safe being seen because it's so fucking focused on surviving. So how could you access higher functions like deep presence and creativity when you don't even feel safe going through your day to day, right? Introducing the Sematic World, the somatic experience of life from a state that is grounded and calm, you know? When we can learn to take a pause from the hyper-speedy culture that we're living in, it's gonna feel, one, really awkward and uncomfortable because you see how much of the world around you is operating in hustle, 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 go, 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 move, move, move. And not the type of purpose-driven hustle, move, it's go time. Because there is a time when your soul is like, this is a time to give it your all. And this is just a season, but it's time to fucking let the rubber hit the road and go. But then there's just this kind of cultural prescribed unconscious narrative that says if you aren't moving 24/7, hyper busy all the time, you're behind. But what the fuck are you actually moving towards? This is something we really need to ask ourselves, and this can only happen when we pause and we observe the fucking craziness, the crazy Mach speed that culture is moving at around us. When we literally just take a second, 10 minutes, whatever it is, to pause, to breathe deep, and to check in, where am I going right now? What am I doing? What am I so fixated on? Where am I going in this season? What trajectory am I at right now? Where will I be in a year, 5 years? Will I be in the same state? Will I still be feverishly trying to get somewhere other than here? You know? But until you become fully present right here, right now, you don't have access to that inquiry, to that discernment into your breath, which is going to ground you into your body and help you feel just that much more regulated, which will help you make better decisions, right? your truth, access to your voice, and your authentic magnetism can only be fueled when you are regulated and you feel safe. The somatic practice of slowing the fuck down, grounding the fuck down, and opening your heart is what makes your nervous system wide enough and deep enough so that you can fully express without depending on validation from the outside world, without someone holding your hand and telling you you're on the right path, and without even needing to be met in the way that you need to be met, which is a paradox, because the second you stop sourcing your sense of worthiness and belonging outside of you, you'll start to attract people, places, and projects that pierce you to your core, that see you and feel you deeper than you've allowed yourself to feel. And that's a product of widening and deepening, right? Deepening. Maybe that's a verb too. Too deep. So the artists, entrepreneurs, and musicians, speakers, coaches, you name it, that are most magnetic are those that have allowed their creativity to expand after healing and deepening their baseline state. I mean, you hear it all the time. Athletes, even fucking Hollywood people that have gone through this sort of awakening, this transformation, that just have a fundamentally different presence about them now. That is so much more real, authentic, and quote, don't give a fuck type of energy. And not the egoic don't give a fuck type of energy, because we can talk about that shadow all day long. Where it's actually people who really give a fuck are the people who say, I don't give a fuck about anything, excuse my language. But that true, unwavering steadfastness in your own connection to your heart, spirit, and nervous system, that truly is unfazed by the outside world for the most part. I mean, things are still going to trigger us, absolutely. It's unrealistic to believe otherwise. I'm doing some funny tongue twisters today. When you are deeply connected to yourself, you just fundamentally are concerned less about what's happening out there, and you're more curious about what's occurring inside of you. From that place of curiosity, you gain so much more access to your creativity, to the states deep within you that hold your potential, and to the latent success that is already inside of you, that is waiting to be expressed, given form, and containers to amplify within. So what are those practices, right? What are those ways that you can come into your body? One, it's realizing that if you're on the brink of burnout or you are burned out, it's time to listen to yourself. The biggest practice you can start today is listening to what your body is saying, and start increasingly small. Am I dehydrated? Am I malnourished? Am I getting enough sleep? I'm a firm believer that 90% of the problems you think you have can be solved by drinking more water, getting better sleep, and eating real food. So start there. Then you can inquire into what's alive in me, what emotion is trying to move through me that I'm not allowing myself to feel. Oh wow, like this insecurity of not feeling chosen is moving through me and it's making me feel frustrated. Okay, sweet. Give yourself 10-20 minutes to move through that emotion. Resource yourself with a somatic therapist, a friend, a coach, whatever you need to feel like you have consistent space to check in with yourself and to feel. I have a consistent date night with a brother where every Monday we go and we get burgers and we just open the space to express what maybe hasn't had the space to move through us that week. It's an incredibly healing and nourishing part of my life, and it can be as silly as that. Burger brother time, And then from there, we cultivate intimacy with what I call the deep creative nudge. It's that intuitive kind of perk, that intuitive sort of soul nudge that's saying, hey, go do this, try this, sit down, go outside, there's a rainbow coming, whatever it is, right? Cultivating intimacy and trust with that little nudge is what connects us to our deeper forms of creativity, to the deeper currents of creativity that are always moving around us and trying to move through us. And when we cultivate trust with our intuition and we open ourselves to be a more clear conduit and channel for that sort of inspiration to run through us, we are sticking our hearts up to life saying, I'm ready, I'm open, I'm imperfect, but I'm worthy as fuck to bring whatever idea you crave into existence. Use me. Here I am at your service. You know, and that's where some of the most amazing bits of creative work, artifacts, projects, businesses come from, are just that little rush of energy. Like Steve Jobs literally being in India, sitting with the guru, getting the download about going back to Silicon Valley, calling up this friend and starting Apple. I mean, that's an extreme example, right? But we love extremes, and those kind of light fire underneath our asses. So allow yourself to cultivate intimacy with those little nudges. And if you want help clearing that channel so you can be wide and deep enough in your emotional state and nervous system state to be able to even discern those messages, check out the Embodied Creator Toolkit, links in the description below. You know, and not to mention, while I'm just here, none of that can fucking happen if you are subscribed to the grind, hustle, hustle, hustle culture. You know, as far as I'm concerned, most of that is just our trauma responses disguised as ambition. You know, hustle culture is a perfect trauma bond from our deep feeling of inadequacy matched up with the, if you're busy, no one can see you fully, you can hide, and you can hide behind your ambition. I call bullshit on that. You'll learn more about yourself and your edges and how to become successful by slowing down and sitting with yourself for an hour without any distractions, you know. Doesn't mean you're meditating, just allow yourself to fucking feel uncomfortable, you know. So all that to say, the version of you that has the capacity to receive the success that you crave is only created through you expanding what's called your window of tolerance, your capacity to remain rooted, centered, grounded, and regulated amidst the inevitable stimuli of life, the triggers of life that will come to you, right? The goal of having a widened and deepened nervous system state is not to be calm all the time. That's illusory. But it's to be able to notice when your system is moving, mobilizing, or freezing, breathing, getting your feet on the ground, and learning to hold it. Communicate it to whoever's necessary in the moment, and to know how to hold yourself and resource yourself. So that instead of being dysregulated for days, months, weeks, years, you allow yourself to have your moment, move it through your system, come back to center, and act from a place that is not self-abandoning. Because when you're dysregulated, you are largely acting from a place that is self-abandoning, that is, you know, your 6-year-old self, who's probably not most well-resourced to handle what's in front of you now. Now that 6-year-old self's also the fucking goddamn artist who's a genius inside of you. But allowing the healthy parts of that person to move through you, not the triggered parts, right? So people always talk about, you know, peace, 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 nervous system is peace and all this. It's like half true. But what if peace is not the reward, but rather the sort of prerequisite, the requirement to begin? Because if you're waiting for peace one day, you're never going to feel it. Until you learn to slow down and embody just some of it now, you're going to stay stuck. So, Widening and deepening your nervous system is the secret, the key, and also the lock to success that you've been waiting for. And no one is going to do that work but you. Get all of the resources you need, but realize it starts with you slowing down, tuning into what's actually happening in your body, connecting to your inner authority without needing to project it outward, tell people about it, share it with the world, whatever. You learn to hold your own power, your own fullness, your own bigness, and from there you naturally emanate a presence that will be magnetic and work that will impact others. So thanks for being here. I appreciate you all. If you want deeper facilitation, Embodied Creator Toolkit and my free newsletter are great resources for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there and in the next episode. But in the meantime, stay so well. Big love. Ciao.